Good evening and welcome to tonight's version of Vox Talks with the amazing special guest, Miss Hannah Wisdish. Hannah is an alumnus from a few years ago now, but she's gone on to a superstar career, and I'll let her introduce herself to you. If, as usual, you'd like to send any questions through, please put them in the chat box because Stu is managing the chat box. Good evening, Stu.
Hello.
Hello, there he is. I'm actually dialing in from our office in France. So if the internet goes a bit squiffy, do bear with me. We'll make sure that we get back to you at the end of the occasion. It's also worth noting that if we run out of time, like we did last week, it's okay to sign in again with the same login details, and they'll let us have another bit of meeting time. So please keep your mics on mute, and over to Hannah. Hannah, would you like to give us a bit of an introduction on who you are?
Yeah, so my name's Hannah. I was a member of Hot House. I've lost count how many years ago. I was probably about 14, 15 years old when I joined. I played alto sax in saxophonics, and MJ2 and MJ1 as they were known, and then the Hot House big band.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And you're dialing in from Wiltshire today?
I'm currently in Wiltshire. Yeah, I've been here for the last 3 months with my my other half's parents and my other half. We took the plunge when it looked like everything was going to lock down in London, and came and spent a few months in the countryside. So yeah, we've been working from home here.
You know, these talks are really about, trying to show the mums and dads the value of a musical education or just a creative arts education, as well as everything else, to try and get you where you are today. It's not just music that, we go into all sorts of industries. So could you tell us a little bit about what you do at the moment for Spectryx?
Yes, so I work for a company called Spectryx, and we are a ticketing, kind of fundraising, marketing software provider for the arts sector. So we basically power the box office at all of your favourite art venues in the UK, and we work in the US and Canada as well. And I am in the kind of support, training and consultancy department. So I joined as a support consultant, so basically helping arts venues get the most out of their software. That might be kind of troubleshooting technical problems with it, but also working quite strategically with them to help them sell more tickets, basically. So our mission as a company is to basically help arts organisations be more resilient in these really tricky times, never mind the tricky times we're in now, to basically have a bit more of a commercial mindset, to be able to use the data and the kind of insights that they have about their audiences in order to sell more tickets, raise more money if they're a charity, and basically deliver the amazing art that is their mission, basically.
So Spectryx is a national company, an international company? Does it work?
An international company, yeah. We're founded in the UK. So our the bulk of our clients are in the UK and Ireland. So we work with about 300 or 400, I can never remember, clients. So that might be arts organisations such as theatres, through to big concert halls like the Town Hall and Symphony Hall in Birmingham, through to music colleges. We work with quite a few of their music colleges for them to sell the tickets for their performances that they hold on, or some of their classes and courses that they run, through to festivals, art centres, cinemas, all sorts really. It's really kind of grown quite a lot, even the time I've been there.
And was it in a boom period before the crisis hit? Were you very busy? Did you have a lot on?
Very busy, yes. Yeah, we've been growing a lot even since I joined. So I joined about 3 years ago, and just the number of clients that we take on each month has kind of grown and grown. And the North American market is actually a big area of growth for us as well. So in the UK, we're quite a big fish, quite established in the UK market. We started working with the Barbican this year, so that was our kind of biggest, very prestigious client. And in the US, we're obviously a little player in a massive market. So that's an area that we're growing in quite considerably.
And
yeah.
Spectryx is a big company. And earlier today, I was doing a webinar for Young Professionals UK, and there were 3,000 apprentices on there trying to find a way into different, pathways really into careers. do Spectryx, have an internship program, or do they have apprentices, or is it very, sort of top level?
I think it's something that, especially as we're growing, it's something we're looking more and more into. So as we are a software company, first and foremost, though we serve the arts sector, we take on apprentices for the software development side of things. And we took on 2 people last year and the requirement was to not have a background in software engineering or a science background. So one of them was a former actor, actually, so he took on that, and I think the other person, she had dance training, and they'd worked in the company a little bit in the support department that I work in, and then they got transferred over to engineering, and they got put through their training, and that was one route into that for them. And then in addition, other ways into the company, we do recruit a lot of people from the arts sector more generally, but as we want to grow and as we want to get the best people, we are looking, I think, in multiple areas. So an internship scheme might well exist in the future.
So we often sort of say, how did you get to where you are today? If you could take us through a potted history of your journey, started at Ecclesbourne School, when a lot of us will know Ecclesbourne School. What happened and what made those decisions for where you went?
Went to school in Ecclesbourne. I guess I was thinking about this as I looked back. I always had an interest in lots of different things, so I tried to keep options open along the way. So I did a kind of a whole variety of A levels, from maths to music to English lit to languages. So then I ended up going to Durham Uni to do English lit and French. From there, as part of because I was doing a languages degree, I did a year abroad, and I spent a year, and I chose to actually work during my year abroad rather than study. So that got me some really good work experience and cool, but it was a fantastic experience, and I got a bit of an insight into HR and training and just kind of lots of kind of client-facing people skills as well. So back to Durham, and then after Durham, I still didn't really know what I wanted to do, but following my experience that I got on my year abroad, I managed to get a job in London at a legal recruitment agency. So very different from Spectryx. It was a kind of jack of all trades job. I did everything from like the database management side of things to HR to accounting to speaking to clients on the phone. And I used that year and a half in London to figure out what I wanted to do, which was going to be something involved in kind of tech, in maybe project management or kind of client support, because I've done a lot of client-facing roles before. And then out of the blue, I found out about Spectryx through somebody I met through an orchestra. So she worked at Spectryx already, and told me about the tech company that works for that sector, which just kind of brought both the tech side of things that I was interested in and the arts, which of course I've had a passion for forever, and it just brought them together, and it sounded like the perfect company.
Wow. And here you are. And when you were, just a couple of things. Why did you choose Durham? And then, whilst you were at Durham, did you do any of the music at Durham as well, or was it just, English and French?
So Durham I chose because of they have a collegiate system, and I know Tansy has already done one of these talks, so if you listen to that one, she'd probably said the same thing. So one of the great benefits of Durham is all the extracurricular stuff that goes on there, and that was something that really, really attracted me to Durham. Just seeing the lists of bands you could play in, kind of art stuff that go on, all the sport, and it happens at a college level, which is kind of like your halls of residence that you are affiliated with the whole time there, but also at the university level. So there was just so much to be involved with. So that was a big draw. And yeah, I did a lot of my time playing in bands. I kept my options open again and joined horn in the orchestra.
Really?
Played piano and jazz band. I played my sax at all. Can't remember if I played my saxophone. And then I joined the musical society as well. So played piano and pit band. That was
Wow. And why French and English if you've gone into, IT and project management? Was it just a course that was interesting at the time, or did you see it as a pathway to somewhere else?
Yeah, it was what interested me at the time. I'd always loved learning languages, and it really kind of worked. Like I enjoyed the logic of learning the language, but also then being able to put into practice speaking with people. And yeah, at the time they were just my two favourite subjects at school, and that's what got me to Durham. At Durham, I realised I didn't want to be a translator or a teacher, which are the kind of traditional routes down. But they also said that it really opens up your options when you do a degree. And I think being able to do abroad was a massive benefit for my degree. I didn't just do 3 years of study and then came out with no life experience. I managed to have that year in the middle where I got to live in Paris and got some real world kind of work experience.
It is very cool. And, if you had, your own children and you were giving them some advice, or you were sort of trying to steer them away for certain things, would you do exactly the same as what you've done so far? Or, were you happy with choosing university? Knowing what you know now, would you, opt for a different route, or did you really love that uni experience?
I did love my university experience. I think it's really hard because I never had a kind of continuous plan the whole way. I just made the best decision I could at every stage, and I would say that there's nothing wrong with that. I think there's a lot of pressure. You can put yourself a lot of pressure on yourself to have that kind of 5 to 10 year plan and to know what everything is going to lead to. But I certainly wouldn't have known starting university that I was going to be in the job that I am now, and it's turned out to be the kind of what I didn't know I wanted to do. Even leaving university, I didn't know at that point. So yeah, I'd say with university, certainly when I was there, it gave me the chance to continue to explore the things I enjoy, such as all the extracurricular things, but then the kind of wider skills you gain around, obviously, kind of analysis and really getting into the grip of problem solving and creative thinking. That was all really valuable.
I think that's really good. One of the things my dad told me was, he said, John, sometimes learning's good for learning's sake. It doesn't have to have an obvious outcome. Sometimes it's just good to, invest in yourself, whether it's invest in languages or invest in IT. You don't have to have a clear use for that. Whereas nowadays, if you go to schools, one of the first things they say is, what do you want to be when you grow up? Do you want to be a fireman? And actually from our point of view, we probably think that, that's a really bad thing because you're pigeonholing them into one type of career, and they really need to be able to pivot into different things. And we think, actually, what would you like to affect in the world? What would you like to be able to change? Mm-hmm. They're more likely to choose subjects which are going to give them the skills to make a difference, and they'll be happier in the long run. I did find personally when I went through university, there were quite a lot of occasions where you have those challenges and knocks. Have you got any things that you could think back to where you thought, oh, that was really difficult and what I learned was coming through it like this? Or was it just a dream sail?
it wasn't the complete dream sail, I guess. Yeah, in my 4th year, I was so my final year, having come back from my year abroad, which was brilliant. It was obviously difficult at times because you're navigating a new job in a new city that you don't really know, and but I'd had a great time during that. And then I got back to 4th year and realised that I only had really about 6 months or so to then come out the other side with a degree, and then I didn't have any more plans after that. So at Durham as at schemes, I applied to kind of all the standard ones and got knocked back at every moment, and didn't get much further than kind of first or second stages for a lot of them, and that was really tricky because it felt like the thing that everyone was getting their grad scheme, and everyone was kind of lining themselves up with jobs to do after university. So after a while, I just stopped applying and just focused on getting my degree. And then once I'd had all my exams out of the way, and I had a bit of capacity to think about it, at that point, I then looked at all the opportunities out there and stopped looking at the big, massive kind of corporations that were taking on kind of channeling graduates into their specific programs, but just to see what else is out there, and that's how I found my job recruitment agency, which was a tiny little company, only 10 people, but it meant that I could kind of learn what I wanted, really, because I had the flexibility and got my foot in the door. And I knew it wasn't, I was happy that it wasn't going to be what I was doing for the rest of my life, but it was going to be the next step.
That's really valuable as well. That sort of advice that, you know, you don't have to do what everybody else does, you know, and actually, you know, when you've got to look after your mental health, haven't you? When you're going these things, you're working on your exams and everybody else is telling you that you need to get your next bit lined up and ready to go. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's okay to take a breather and just, and reflect after the fact, isn't it? You know, life's very much about taking the chance to live in the moment. Stu's dropped me a quick question. He was saying, have you had any really standout moments with your work at Spectryx so far? You know, met any super famous people? You know, you've nailed that one classic gig.
Well, the most famous, I was at a press night with Tom Hiddleston. That was a highlight. That was probably my closest brush with fame. But a highlight was probably about a year in to, so this is a couple of years ago now. I was part of my department. We put on a series of workshops around the country, and it's for our clients, for the arts organisations, and we spend a day kind of delivering presentations and having kind of workshop sessions to maybe 50 to 80 people in the room about different parts of the software or best practice when it comes to kind of project. Was very outside my comfort zone because it was public speaking, which I hadn't done any of in my degree or very much. But that process from kind of having an idea for a session and then developing it with my teammates and getting comfortable delivering public speaking, and then seeing what the clients got out of it, that was really good.
It is. There's a real sense of reward, isn't there? I mean, it's almost like playing a musical instrument and then you see everybody happy at the end of the thing. You know,
yeah.
It's a good thing. Do you still play a musical instrument now? Do you play in an orchestra or anything like that?
I do, yes. Yeah, so I play French horn in a community orchestra in London. So I've kept my French horn up. And I'm playing piano, actually, in another new orchestra. We are the London Video Game Orchestra. So again, something completely different. But we play, arrangements of video game music. So it's a full, like, 75 piece orchestra with saxophones and full brass and percussion, and I play piano in it. So that's really awesome.
Well, then, what's the favourite video game theme tune you're playing?
So it's probably from our first concert, and it was the theme from the Zelda game Breath of the Wild.
Yeah,
it's got a big piano feature, so that was, and we did a classic game kind of theme for the concert, so playing Sonic and Pokemon and all that kind of stuff was also really good fun.
That's very cool. You know, actually, Stu's just said that, you know, some happy memories that we've got of when we were doing band and music together. He said he thinks you came on the first ever saxophonics trip to Paris. Can you remember that?
I did. Yeah, that was going to be my highlight, if you ask me. Yeah, no, that was a fantastic trip.
Oh,
yeah.
So cool, especially since you went off and actually lived in Paris for a year and then spoke French and did it brilliantly. So what does the future see for you now? Have you got any great plans coming up?
So I guess continuing to build my role at Spectryx, really. I've kind of gone up through the ranks a little bit, so I'm now in the department that I'm in. So we've got high hopes for the company, and obviously weathering the pandemic set us back a little bit, but we'll come out the other end. And then, yeah, I don't know, I'm very happy at Spectryx. I love London, but getting itchy feet a bit maybe, and might move abroad in the next years, you never know. Try a new city.
Yeah, that's amazing. And if kids wanted to get involved in your sort of career, any advice for where they should be looking? Is it, just random, choose a subject they like, or is there a particular pathway now to get into, IT management, that sort of thing, the art?
I would say, even if you're at university doing a traditional subject, try and get kind of aspects of work experience into it where you can. So that was why my French degree ended up being so valuable, because I got that year abroad in a real in a kind of professional environment as well. But apart from that, looking on like arts sector publications like The Stage and Arts Professional, different companies like us will be very present in those kind of industry publications and websites. So that's a good place to keep an eye out as well.
Great, thanks. Well, I'm sure everybody's had a super time. Thank you very much for giving up your evening. And if it's okay, I'll get them to forward questions on and things like that. Before I finish and go to the next one, though, Nick Jones, the next guest for Vox 2, he's just asked a quick question. Do you see any links between how you were playing music and how it's contributed to the professional success that you're now, witnessing? Because obviously you're a manager, a bit of a superstar. You tie the two things together, a bit of music and a bit of success?
Well, I've definitely used my experience in music as examples in every job interview that I've had.
Right. And I think that's the soundbite of the evening.
Whether it's
yeah, I like it. Guys, that's going to be it for this evening's Vox with Hannah. Thank you very much, Hannah. We've appreciated it super much. I'll make sure that I send the video to the people who've been listening. Folks, if you do have any questions, please send them through to Hannah. I'm sure she won't mind hooking up on LinkedIn. And if you've got any questions about Spectryx or anything along those lines, she'd be super keen to know what's going on. Right now, we're going to sign out, and I'll see you in the next room to meet our second special guest of the evening, Mr. Nick Jones. Thanks, Hannah, and good evening, everybody.